Welcome, guys, back to another Capital Convos podcast. This will also be shown on YouTube and Spotify. So make sure you're subscribed and make sure you're following us on Spotify as well. This is 2020. Welcome to another year. It's been a couple of weeks since we have been on, but like we said, we're going to keep this up very, very regularly. And this is going to be on every Sunday. It's going to be released on both platforms.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Introducing Capital Convos.
Over the last year, a lot has taken place. A hell of a lot has taken place, in fact. And you know what? It is probably one of the worst years that we have ever come across in our lives. At the same time, it's also one of the best, for some or for many, should we say. But here's a quick look at what has taken place over 2020.
New mystery virus from China.
The variation of the coronavirus.
All the victims believed to have visited the same.
Have enough tests today.
Wall Street's worst day in more than a decade.
The Olympics postponed.
Vaccine or no vaccine, we're back.
The president tests positive for the coronavirus.
The FDA formally authorizes emergency use of Pfizer's coronavirus vaccine.
The first presidential debate of the season.
Would you shut up, man?
We can now project that former Vice President Joe Biden has been elected president of the United States.
I think we all
A black man pinned to the ground, later dying after a white officer kneeled on his neck.
The flashbangs are continuing to go off.
But we now have a new variant of the virus. You must stay at home.
Wow, 2020 was a mad year, for all of us, for yourself, for myself as well. A lot of things have happened. A lot of things have changed in multiple people's circumstances. A lot of people lost their jobs. However, a lot of people have also opened up multiple other income streams alongside it just to make sure, their current circumstances aren't too affected.
Yep.
It has brought a lot of change into the world as well. It's brought a lot of change into my life. I'm hardly going to the office anymore. We're pretty much stuck at home. We aren't even able to use a studio today because, we're in tier 5 lockdown right now.
Yeah, so here we are on Zoom.
Yeah, taking it all on Zoom. A lot of businesses have been going on Zoom, in fact. And you know what? This is like the way technology is moving forward, the whole way that the digital world is progressing. And, today it has never progressed further than it actually is ever. Ever has been before. We're in a better circumstance now digitally than we ever were before in our whole entire lives. Like I said, technology keeps moving forward at all times. And, one of the main things that has come out of this digital era is cryptocurrency, which we're going to dwell upon very, very heavily today.
Mm-hmm.
So
of
one
course.
of the first things that we mentioned, or we're going to mention, is, what was it, Mark?
XRP. So obviously how it crashed down to like 18, 17p, which is crazy considering it was around 50. It went up to 55p. And then like a month later, it crashed, which is crazy. So
I even remember it hitting 73p on some exchanges.
Is it? Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
it actually did spike there. Not on all exchanges. It might have just, been very, very quick, a quick 1 second spike or so.
Yeah.
Quick, how they do the pump and dumps.
Yeah. Like that Discord chat.
yeah.
Jeez, man.
And like, all you see is a massive wick and then come straight back down. But, we've also seen what has been taking place with the SEC over the last 2 to 3 weeks as well in terms of XRP. So what's happened is XRP, or Ripple Labs, should I say, to clarify, Ripple is a different company to XRP. Yeah. So Ripple Net is a company. XRP is the coin.
So what do you think caused that big drop down? Because obviously I think a lot of people get confused with the difference. When they think Ripple, they think XRP. So do you think that's how the retail traders kind of thought? That because Ripple's getting sued, XRP has to fall down, do you reckon?
Yeah, that's correct. Because at the end of the day, Ripple created XRP.
Yeah.
Now, XRP is a different company. But yeah, what happened is RippleNet is actually being sued by the SEC. There's multiple rumors out there, so many different rumors, but they're actually getting sued for unlawfully selling the cryptocurrency, but XRP owns the cryptocurrency, not
Yeah.
RippleNet, because it is a totally different company right now. Yeah,
Mm.
they made it, but then they merged out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So XRP, everyone is asking so many different questions. Like, you've had so many different questions. In fact, fire them away. What other people have been asking them, about XRP, and let's help clarify.
Honest,
At
there's
the
so,
same time,
so many, especially on Instagram, especially.
yeah,
And also in FHC, a lot of people I think are getting scared that because it crashed so low, it's like a dead coin. So they're seeing it as a dead coin. They may have like invested, I don't know, 2000 at 0.3 or 0.35. Obviously, it crashed down to like 18, 17. So obviously now they're thinking, oh, should I sell? Should I sell? And I just keep telling them, you got to think about what is Ripple and what's fundamentally what is Ripple. Like you can't think of it as just a quick get rich quick scheme. You got to actually understand what the fundamentals are behind what actual Ripple is and why should it go up. Like, why is Bitcoin going up? Why is Ethereum going up? And why is what's the other cryptocurrency?
excellent.
Yeah, XLM. Why is all that booming up? And why isn't Ripple? So obviously this
And
lawsuit
Litecoin.
and and Litecoin. So obviously you just got to just hold out, because obviously I feel like this crash is just shaking out a lot of retail traders, especially. I'm been holding it. I've held it. I'm probably going to buy more. I think at the moment now it's about 25p from this time.
It was at 25.
Boomed up today.
Yeah,
which was today's obviously the 7th of Jan for those obviously wondering. It boomed up, which is crazy.
yeah, it is. After all that fear and big doubt in the markets that have taken place, all the sellers have finally sold their positions of XRP. They're like, you know what, forget this. I'm out. A lot of people were panicking. There was a lot of doubt, like I mentioned, in the markets. And a lot of people have been messaging me, what do you think of it? What do you think of it? And I just keep saying, you know what, buy more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you got to do dollar cost averaging though. You can't just buy a lump sum. Like, let's say you can invest 4,000 or 1,000. Don't just invest that much all in one lump sum, because what happens if it crashes down even further?
Exactly.
Now look at where you're at. So you got a dollar cost average. For those who's wondering, dollar cost average just means splitting up your money throughout either the up or the downtrend. So I bought some at 0.3. I know Drew bought some at 0.25 or 0.3, I think, and he said he's going to buy more. So it's all about just spreading your capital out, because eventually it is going to go up. So you just gotta just be patient, I think. What do you think?
That's true. Yeah, I think it's going to continue going up. Otherwise, it wouldn't have definitely passed again on the bull run today. The 20p mark, for instance, let alone 25. Yeah. So the 20p point, I'm talking in pounds, by the way, not dollars. Just for those viewers who are wondering, why, what price are you talking about? On my chart, it shows like 30 right now, but why are you saying 25? We're talking in pounds. So it wouldn't have even gone above the 20p mark, like I mentioned, if it wasn't, a very strong crypto. Now, a lot of companies have rebought at the bottom as well. Some companies are waiting to what the discussion is going to take place on the 20th, what SEC's decision is going to be.
Is it the 20th of Feb, or is it
20th of Jan?
Oh, okay, wow, that's quite
so it's literally
close.
around the corner.
Yeah.
About 14 days away.
So what do you think is going to happen?
I personally think they're going to get a fine, and they're just going to continue on. Now,
you got to remember that Tesla also got fined. Microsoft, Amazon all got fined, and now look where they are. So you just got to think about that.
Even some of our phone providers like O2 have been fined. Vodafone have been fined.
And you're still using them.
Exactly.
You're still using them.
Barclays have been fined.
Wow.
So many different companies out there have been fined. VW have been fined. People are still driving them. They don't care.
Yeah. Good cars.
Yeah.
Very reliable.
Cars, very reliable, very economical. But you know what? This happens. There are some mess ups in companies as they are growing larger and larger. What you guys need to understand is clearly this company is very, very large. This crypto is huge.
Yeah.
The SEC to even look at them in the first place, they're clearly on their way up for a certain reason.
100%.
And for the SEC to look into a company, first of all, they have to be doing some big movements and causing a lot of influence in the world in the first place.
Yeah.
They wouldn't just look at a company that is worth, let's just say, few 100k company. Let's say a company's worth £100,000. Yeah,
it's not worth the time.
Even looking at that company.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Exactly, it's not worth their time. But everything comes back down to money, because if the company is only worth 100k, they can't find them 1 million.
Yeah.
And profit from it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, they're only going to be looking at the big companies and looking faults in those big companies.
So did Bitcoin ever get fined or not?
No, because Bitcoin isn't a company. Bitcoin isn't owned by anybody.
Okay,
Bitcoin
that's probably
is
why.
public.
That's probably why Ripple's only getting fined. That makes a lot of sense. You
I
got to
think
remember
Bitcoin-
also SEC as well. Like they're not known for reliability. Like
No.
2008, the financial crisis.
they weren't able to help.
Yeah, they weren't even regulating the banks properly. So they were giving banks prices to buy stuff that's just not sustainable. And then it just kept piling up and up and up and up and up, and then eventually it crashed. They're not very reliable. So you just don't see it as a bad thing, I don't think. As you said, every company gets a fine, but it doesn't change the facts, what the fundamentals behind the company is. So,
they're still going to continue growing, still going to continue developing, and their technology is only going to get better and better with time.
100%.
So it's literally, we're in right at the beginning. Some people are saying it's going to hit $10 or £10, £20, £50 per
People
coin.
seen 100.
100 I've seen.
1,000.
Even 1,000. But I'm still going to be very conservative, and I still believe £4 or £5 is what it is definitely going to reach. Any further than that is a bit of a bonus. Where I calculate that is based on market cap, is based on population, and is based on what banks, or how far banks are willing to go in terms of, or what money they're looking to save in terms of transaction fees. And they wouldn't push so little through, they would end up pushing a hell of a lot through. But because there's so many Ripple coins, I believe there's about 100 billion coins that are going to be made, or 10 billion coins. I can't remember the number at the top of my head right now. I mentioned it in a previous video, in fact, in my channel, but I've totally forgot. But there are basically more than the population in the world. There's
crazy.
more coins to go around for everybody. So therefore, it can't push to like Bitcoin prices, for instance, like 10k. It may not even be able to push to 1,000. Just based on certain figures and calculations that I've tried to work out for myself.
So what do you think the reasons are why people just make these stupid projections? I mean, it definitely could. I mean, I'm not saying it could never, but these are just crazily high projections.
I believe it possibly could be to do with technicals. I know you're not too into technicals, you're way more fundamental. That's where these predictions are coming from. In fact, I heard Bitcoin could hit silly figures, but right now I'm not in doubt of it, but it is looking a bit too far right now. And on the previous drop of Bitcoin, people, just based on technicals, people were saying it's going to drop to this level. Those levels got broken like no time. And then they said it's going to rise to these levels. Those levels got broken in no time as well. They pushed way past those predictions. It is based on fundamentals more than technicals.
100%.
Definitely.
I think a lot of people for Bitcoin as well are talking about how it could reach 50k by January or end of Jan. And by the way, it's going right now. 100%. I think it's $50,000, not pounds.
Wow.
$50,000. So at the moment, I think it's 39,000, 40,000.
$40,000. It hit $40,000 today. Do you know what happened? In fact, it hit $40,000 in the last few hours. I think it was around 6:30 p.m. UK time, and every exchange just cut it off because or it's like crashed, because you know what, everyone wanted to sell their Bitcoins at that time.
Wow.
So a lot of people are messaging in my crypto groups as well, saying Binance is down, Coinbase is down, I don't know what to do. I'm like, just chill. Yeah, it hit 40K or $40,000, in fact, not pounds. $40,000, and everyone wants to end up selling or cashing out at least something to put in their pockets and enjoy, you know, the next couple of weeks or so.
Yeah.
Just depends on everybody's investment strategy at the same time as well. So whatever their investment strategy is, maybe 40K is a mark that they were looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah, and keeping an eye on where they were looking to take partial profits at, and that is exactly what's happened. So give it a few hours, and all exchanges should be back up again.
You carry on, yeah.
Yeah,
it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. Give it a few hours, and everything will be back on up and running. Even I wanted to buy some Bitcoin a little earlier on today as well, a couple of hours ago, but I wasn't able to. So, you know, wait till midnight and see what happens.
So, what do you think about the whole genre of Bitcoin at the moment? Because obviously it's right in like the news spotlight at the moment.
Yeah.
Because obviously that happened in September all the way up to December 2017 or 2018? 2017, I think.
2017, yeah.
Yeah, 2017. That was all in the news, buy Bitcoin, and then it obviously crashed.
Yeah.
Do you see this happen again? Because obviously a lot of people are scared that that may happen again.
Yeah, you know what? The most volatile asset I've ever seen is Bitcoin.
it literally is.
I saw it go from like, you know, 300, 400 pounds to 1,000, and then back down to about 500 pounds.
Did you buy at that prices?
Yeah, my first buy-in was around 300 to 400 pounds. I can't exactly remember the exact figure, but it was between that price. That was obviously 2014. Yeah, still holding.
Wow.
That was in 2014, and that was the price around that time.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and when it, like I said, when it hit 1,000, we've discussed this before as well. When it hit 1,000, I couldn't believe it. You know, me and my friends couldn't believe it as well. We were like, "What the hell? Yeah, this has never happened. Why are people even buying houses? Like, this is the best investment of all time."
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it came back down to about £500-600, and you know, it is heavily volatile. So, it's possible, like you said. You know, your question was, do you see it coming back down to these prices again? I definitely do, and I wouldn't push it past Bitcoin. It's a heavily volatile asset.
I think a lot of people are saying 20,000 as the
20K. You mean in dollars?
I can't remember. I know I saw 20K, so it's either pounds or dollars. I think for dollars is quite a lot, because that's like half.
Yeah.
Like half of it's like
that's a 50% drop. Yeah.
I mean, it definitely could happen.
It could easily happen. Yeah. We've seen it drop 50% before. We've seen it rise 50% before.
Yeah.
You know what? So I definitely wouldn't push it past. A lot of people are, you know, asking, what should I do with Bitcoin? You're kind of slightly late, but then again, dollar cost averaging would be the best way to buy into Bitcoin today.
100%.
Yeah. If you want to know how to do that, obviously Mark will mention it now quickly.
What, to buy Bitcoin?
Yeah, on dollar cost averaging.
Okay, cool. So let's say you have 1,000. You're talking about how to spread over. So spread. Okay, cool. So let's say you have 1,000, or let's say 2,000, and you want to buy Bitcoin right now. I wouldn't say put 2K in. You got to spread out your money. So maybe put 300 in now, 400 in now. Wait for the pullback to drop. Keep buying at small increments, because obviously if you know, or you have a very, very positive understanding that it is going to rise again. Let's say, for example, it crashes, like I said earlier, absolutely crashes down to, let's say, $15,000.
Yeah.
But now you've put 2K in at the current price, which is 39, 40,000. You've now just lost a hell of a lot. So you just got to buy in 300, 400, wait for the pullback, $5,000 pullback, $10,000. It's up to you, whatever you decide. Buying again at 500, 750. So don't just keep buying big sums, because like you said, it's volatile. So it could crash at any moment. I don't see it crashing anytime soon. You might see a big rejection at around 50,000.
Yeah.
Because obviously that's quite a big level.
Yeah, big psychological level. I'd say, you know what, in Bitcoin, psychological matter or levels matter very heavily.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So for obviously those who don't need talking about Dow theory, like 25, 50,
Yeah,
100.
that's correct. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
it. 10K, 25, 20, 50. That's why everyone started selling at 40, and you know what? Exchange servers started crashing.
yeah, I think 50 will be a very big one.
There is no major reason out there for people to start selling at 40.
It's psychological, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just
They
totally
see a big
psychological.
whole number. When they see a whole
Yeah.
number, they think, oh, I need to cash out now.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? One of my friends actually bought a lot. I'm not going to say how much he invested, but this was during the lockdown crash. I think it was around March or April.
Are you talking about the Bitcoin?
Yeah, Bitcoin. It came down to about 3.5K.
Yeah.
Yeah. When it crashed all the way up from about £12,000, came all the way down to about 3,300, 3,500. He bought in a hell of a lot. Now he literally, I was with him the other day, sometime last week, and he goes, "This is one of the best investments I've ever made," and I'm not cashing out anytime soon.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's very
So,
good.
like when everybody, Warren Buffett has a very good saying, in fact, when everybody is selling, you should be buying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like the S&P.
Yeah.
Look at the S&P, how it crashed. Now look where it is. It's at all-time highs again. So it did reach all-time highs. I think it's pulling back now. But you got to remember that stocks and cryptocurrencies, especially in today's society, is always going to go up.
Yeah.
So it's like if you buy the S&P right now, 5 years in time, it's going to be up. So you just got to, as we were mentioning, dollar cost averaging. Don't just buy it all in at one price.
Yeah.
Spread out your cash, because it will help you in the long run. Because if you buy in lump sum, it's going to sting you more than it will help you.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. One more that we didn't have on the list as well, in fact, but I just wanted to add is Ethereum.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, Ethereum is actually flying very, very high.
Yeah.
And is showing some really good strength. Also, it is showing, they've developed some new technology, because obviously some of the blockchains are made by Microsoft.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know you're against Microsoft here.
I'm Apple for
yeah. You know what? When Apple make a crypto, it will probably be amazing.
It would be.
Yeah, and I really can't wait for them to do that either, because Apple have some really, really strong like influence behind them. You know,
100%.
no matter what they make, loyal customers will always buy.
Apple, right? This is how Apple works. I worked for Apple previously, but this is how I've seen them over these past years. They see a product like, for example, noise cancellation, the technology, right, in headphones.
Yeah.
You know, you got the Sony QX, whatever long number.
Yeah.
Now you've got the AirPods Max, which are the big headphones.
Yeah.
And you've got noise cancellation. What they do is they get the technology and they make it a lot better. Like, I don't know how they do it. It's just what they do. Like, this is when you see all like the Android people. Oh, Android had it 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, but Apple just made it better.
Yeah.
So
That's like, true. I agree.
It's like with crypto, like they could make it maybe a lot better. I don't see it being more a Titan as Bitcoin, but once they do, like, I think it will boom.
Yeah.
They might do. Because this is how like Apple works.
Yeah.
But I think not in the distant future, maybe once cryptocurrencies become more mainstream.
Yeah.
Like more into our lives.
When regulation comes in, I believe.
So do you think, like, let's add on to that. So the SEC action onto XRP, you think this is a start of a regulationary period for crypto?
Yeah, you know what? Because obviously there's a solution to every problem. Yeah, no matter what problem there is out there, there's always a solution to it. Yeah. And there will be a positive that will come out of it and a negative that will come out of it. Yeah. That's pretty much how they deal with things anyway. Yeah. So for instance, let's go back to when they previously fined O2, which obviously I've done research in, I read up why it was and all of that.
Yeah.
So I think they were mis-selling some 4G. Yeah. Okay. Recently, in the last 4 years, they were mis-selling 4G.
So you talking about like how they say this is 4G, but it's actually like 3G data, or?
Yeah, it's like 3G data that is a lot faster.
Okay. No, I'm talking about, are they mis-selling the 4G, saying it is 4G, but really it's 3G type of speed?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
correct. Or yeah, I think they were selling 4G, but it was really slow, or they were selling 3G, but it was really fast, so they called it 4G.
Oh, okay, yeah, I get you now.
Yeah, one of those. It was one of those. Anyway, they said, look, you're not allowed to continue mis-selling. Yeah, you must develop the new product properly, clear it up with all your people. I don't even think they cleared it up with anybody. Nobody even knew O2 got fined heavily
Yeah.
in the first place. But they let them continue as long as you pay this fine and you follow
Yeah.
these guidelines.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
So SEC aren't going to shut companies down. Does that make sense? Especially after how much technology, how much money, development, and interest and investment has gone into the XRP, blockchain, into the XRP technology today. Yeah, into what its cause is going to be in the first place. Yeah, they back that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, they just have to regulate certain actions that aren't being done properly right now. Yeah, so they have to put that back onto the straight path, find them for not doing it in the first place,
and then just
and then
make
you
sure.
lot carry on.
Yeah. That's it's pretty much how
Yeah.
it works.
Exactly. Now, next point that you mentioned was gold versus Bitcoin, which is a very interesting one.
I think it is. I
It
mean, a
is.
lot of the way gold is always going to go up because it's of value.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of investors now are starting to see Bitcoin as another diversification to their portfolio. So obviously, as I've obviously previously mentioned, I think maybe on a podcast or maybe on Instagram stories about how when you see stocks go down, you typically see gold boom.
Gold go up, yeah.
So like, especially if you look at the S&P this year in March, April time, and then look at gold March, April time, you will see it absolutely boom up. So I think that now, because we've got to think about how cryptocurrencies are going to come into play and how it's going to become a norm. So at that point, I think people are going to start to switch over from that to cryptocurrencies as it becomes obviously normalized. I think it's not as big as it is at the moment in terms of if you ask maybe, if I ask my mum what Bitcoin is, I don't think she would know. If you ask somebody on the street, do you know what Bitcoin is? 9 times out of 10, they're not gonna have a clue what that is, or what is Ripple, or what is Ethereum. So once that comes into play more, I think a lot of investors will start to diversify. I think they're starting to diversify already, but I think it's become more norm now. We'll see like something like a crash in the S&P, and Bitcoin might boom up. So that's what I might see. That's what I think probably will happen. What do you think?
I think, you know what, Bitcoin could be the new gold. A lot of all over the internet, people are saying it is the gold of the internet. Because you know what, back in the day, let's just say no currencies were allowed to be used on the internet. Bitcoin would be the first way of transacting. And that would be the first or the next option of transacting, wouldn't it? Because when you're nowadays, some websites, when you're buying stuff, it says pay by credit card, pay by PayPal, pay by Bitcoin.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So gold versus Bitcoin, but then we have to remember gold isn't going to go anywhere anytime soon. It has been the gold standard. Well, a lot of you guys know about the gold standard, which is where transactions actually started taking place many centuries ago. Multiple thousands of years ago, in fact, is where people understood value for something. They understood, you know what, this is something that is mined out of the ground.
It's rare.
It's very rare. Well, it can be stolen, but it is worth something. And people are willing to exchange goods for this certain block of gold or whatever. If it's a coin or a block of gold, or a bar of gold to buy a house, or to buy a certain amount of horses. It has always been around, and that is where transactions actually started in terms of money, or paper money, because there was a goldsmith one day that said, I'm going to give you a receipt if you store your gold in my bank. And what that receipt said was, this is worth 20 pounds of gold. This piece of paper is worth 20 pounds of gold. So if he gives that piece of paper to somebody, let's just say for a bunch of bottles of water, that's, well, something that's worth 20 pounds, for instance. Or let's just say a simple hard drive. Buy a hard drive for 20 pounds. and they give them this piece of paper rather than a bar of gold. Yeah, that person who has the piece of paper can now go back to the bank and claim his bar of gold. Yeah, that's where things started off. Now, things that is still taking place today, yeah, not with gold anymore, but with cryptocurrency. If you want to change it back into normal money now, it's so easily doable.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Plus,
5 seconds.
it's safer than storing your bitcoins rather than storing stacks of gold at home.
Yeah.
You can just keep it on a ledger
Yeah.
and then dig it under the floorboards of your house and nobody's finding it. Yeah. You know where I'm coming from, or dig a hole in the wall and put it in there, cover it up, nobody's finding your ledger.
Yeah.
Your little USB. So Bitcoin and gold, I believe Bitcoin is actually based on gold. Yeah. There's a white paper, obviously, by Satoshi, who created Bitcoin, and he was mentioning this as well, that this is looking to be the gold of the internet. Yeah. Most and nearly all transactions are going to be taken place through a cryptocurrency source. He wanted it to be Bitcoin. Yeah. So far, Bitcoin is the most used currency right now, or cryptocurrency to date.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't really buy anything with, let's just say, Stellar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right now, it's currently just an investment that you can put some money in, let it grow, and then take out.
Yeah.
But other cryptocurrencies out there will be way more widely used. And from Bitcoin moving on forward, I believe Bitcoin and gold are very, very similar. Just the volatility is a little different.
I think if you look at the chart as well, I think I saw it on online the other day, how you know how gold boomed up and then it boomed all the way down again, and then it boomed all the way up again. I think if you look at the chart, if you get up a chart of Bitcoin and gold and like overlap them, they look very, very similar.
Yeah.
Like, there's very, very difficult things to how it booms up and it crashes all the way down like gold did, and then it crashes down and it's absolutely boomed again. If you look at it, it's so similar. So
yeah,
100%.
That's what's happening in the crypto world as well. When everyone started selling off their XRPs because of this negative news that did take place with the SEC, they put their money into Bitcoin first. Yeah. And then they were like, okay, my mind has settled now. What else can I diversify into? Yeah. And Ethereum came next. Because Ethereum is obviously number 2 right now in the cryptocurrency world.
Yeah.
I actually see Ethereum becoming a very, very, very strong, safe coin. And I don't usually say the word safe with any kind of investment out there.
Yeah.
But because of, the amount of backing it has in terms of Microsoft is not a small company. Yeah. Microsoft is a bigger company than Ripple Labs, than XRP. Yeah. Microsoft is a bigger company than XLM. Like, it's probably a bigger company than every crypto out there.
100%.
For instance. Yeah. And nothing against Microsoft. I personally use a Mac, but they do know what they're doing in terms of computers.
Very trustworthy as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Very trustworthy.
They created Windows, some of the first platform that we were able to, or the first platform that we were able to use on a screen.
I think it's great as well.
So yeah, they definitely know what they're doing. So Bitcoin and Ethereum are definitely going to be ahead. In fact, Bitcoin already costs more than gold.
Yeah.
Bloody expensive now.
Yeah. Expensive gold.
Like way more than gold, Bitcoin compared to a USD. Look, XAU, which is the abbreviation of gold, right now is roughly around 1950.
Yeah.
Yeah, per dollar, or per ounce of dollar. Yeah. Bitcoin per dollar, 40,000.
Yeah.
Crazy, man. Crazy. So you know where I'm coming from. Bitcoin already has outdone gold in terms of pricing. I think it will match its volatility, like you mentioned. The charts look exactly the same, and I totally agree as well. In terms of safety, they're both going to be also the safe havens. Yeah. So first, the safe haven for stocks were gold, and for currencies were gold.
Yeah.
The safe haven for cryptos is Bitcoin.
100%.
Yeah. So it does mimic it very, very heavily. it mimics it, pretty much spontaneously. When you see Bitcoin go up, sometimes you see gold go up at the same time
So
as
do
well.
you think there will ever be a time where Bitcoin will become the new like safe haven and gold will just crash down? Or do you think it will just like stay at a consolidation zone?
I personally don't ever think Bitcoin will crash to zero. Sorry, dollar, no, gold.
Gold. Not crash down to zero, but like
Yeah.
it crash down and then stabilize at a certain price.
Possibly. It is looking a bit expensive at the moment, 1950 per ounce, but at the same time, that's also not too expensive compared to the amount of gold out there in the world. There's a very limited amount. Yeah. So, people are just willing to pay more for it, and that has driven the price up.
Simple supply and demand, isn't it?
Simple supply and demand. Yeah. I don't see gold going anywhere anytime soon. It was the first form of transaction that, humans ever adopted.
Yeah.
And because of that, everything has been based off that simple transaction form. It will not be going anywhere anytime soon. If gold drops and disappears and slowly phases out, something is wrong.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why in the Federal Reserve, they reserve so many gold bars in there.
Yeah.
Just in
Especially
case
the Bank of England as well.
Bank of England has so many gold bars. Yes, literally rooms full of it. Yeah. There's a reason for that. They know, what, gold is even more stable than the British pound.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Just in case the UK economy goes down, at least we have these gold bars. So me personally, I don't think it is going to drop and be worthless ever.
100%.
Ever.
So I know a lot of people, or I think a lot of the older generation are maybe less or a bit confused about what Bitcoin is. So very shortly, what would you explain Bitcoin? Because they see Bitcoin as like just some coin on the internet that is like gold, for example, that you can use it for rings and like medical devices and stuff. But Bitcoin is just something on the internet. What would you briefly explain it to those who don't understand?
So I would explain it very simply. For those of you guys who are watching, in fact, don't know what Bitcoin is either. I'm sure you do now because you've probably checked out other videos. But for the old people, for instance, it is just simply another form of transaction. So it's another currency. We have euros, we have pounds, we have dollars, we also have Bitcoin. That's how I would explain it to them. So I can pay you in pounds, I can pay you in euros, I can pay you in dollars, or I can pay you in Bitcoins. And you know what? I was actually with one of my friends earlier today, and I had to transfer in some money just for a quick something he did for me. And he goes, you know what? I'd rather you send me Bitcoin. And I was like, I'd rather not. I'd rather give you the pound equivalent, and you go buy your own Bitcoins from there.
I see what you
Which is fair enough, but you know what? It's understandable why some people would rather be paid in Bitcoin because it's anonymous. Some people may not want to be declaring some sort of incomes that they're making, for no apparent reason. They just want it to use it as a spending feature, which they can still do if they load it onto a debit card. If you load Bitcoin onto a crypto debit card, you can still spend it as normal, and your bank doesn't know about it.
Okay, is that the company crypto.com?
Yeah, crypto.com.
Yeah,
there's Wirex. There's a few other different debit cards out there that support cryptocurrency and Bitcoin.
Wow. Okay.
One of the safest that I have used, which I can recommend, I can't recommend many others because I haven't really used many others, is Wirex. Wirex is a very good coin. Not coin. Wirex is a very good debit card provider, which also supports Bitcoin. So if you want to load some Bitcoins onto there, you can spend it in a shop normally as pounds.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, the usability is increasing even further now.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Getting a lot further. So next topic, in fact, investments for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
So this was actually sent in by a viewer as well. We always ask you for comments as well. Message us, put it in the comments box below. Make sure you like this video as well if you are gaining some knowledge out of this, even if it's just a bit of 1% knowledge that has benefited you in some sort of way. That's all that matters to us. Investments over the next 5 years put in by a viewer. What do you think?
It's a good question. There's a lot of stuff, I think. I think obviously I've mentioned in the first, I think, ever podcast about green energy.
Yeah.
So this is more for like the US green energy, also like into other continents. But obviously Biden's now president, or he's still elect president, but he is basically the president now. How he's going to sign some big deal on green energy. This is obviously going to create a big demand for energy stocks. So I bought a lot in October, September time. For me, the companies I'm looking at is Nextera, which is a green energy company. What else is the other one? I can't think of the other one. Bloom or Ring. I think it's Bloom or Ring. Bloom or Ring, one of them. I know one's an oil and one's a green, but one of them as well are also booming. Since obviously that podcast, because Biden's come into play now, and obviously the investors are starting to see, well, he wants to push out green energy. Which is a good thing, because obviously all of the CO2 emissions are rising. So he wants to try and at least cut it down somehow. So this is why obviously you see that rising. Also emerging markets. So obviously emerging markets are like Asia and India. And obviously because interest rates are so low in the US, this entices obviously other people to borrow money and take out, so they can obviously like build up the economy and stuff. So this is why we're starting to see a big boom in emerging markets. And obviously the vaccine as well, and the way they've handled the virus is a lot better than the US. So this is why, if you look at the Asian stock market, you will see it booming up like enormously. Because
the Asian stock market's flying right now.
Because they've just handled the pandemic a lot better. Whether you're a speculator or not, that China caused it, they've just handled it better. And you're starting to see the results. And obviously the US isn't so much. And if you look at the dollar index at the moment, the S&P is obviously pushing up because there's certain stocks within that is carrying the rest. And also the NASDAQ as well, which is the technologies, they're certainly getting carried by all, because technology doesn't really get affected by the virus as much. So you got, I think emerging markets and green energy personally. I'm not going to tell you what emerging markets, because I'm not a financial advisor. But I'd say look into emerging markets, either the stock market or the Forex market. Both are very, very good. And I'd go for them personally. What do you think?
I also agree with you there. I'm not too, let's say, knowledgeable in terms of green energy at the moment. And well, some in terms of cars, I am. Obviously, Tesla are smashing it right now.
100%.
The UK are looking to go absolutely petrol and diesel-less by 2030.
Wow. Okay.
So obviously they're going to be developing and bringing in or supporting a lot of electric cars towards the future. And by 2030, it will only be electric cars only on the roads. So one big company, like I said, is Tesla. Now, Tesla are quite ahead of the rest of the electric car manufacturing world right now.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well ahead. So they're developing new styles of batteries, more efficient batteries, more powerful batteries in a lot smaller space. Before you needed like gallons of lithium, for instance. Like gallons and gallons of lithium. Now they have been able to compress it into a very small amount to produce the same amount of energy. So you can have more batteries in your car, producing more power, still, using up less energy. So they're ahead, way ahead when it comes down to, development of those kinds of things. And I definitely would say Tesla is a very good stock to invest in today and just hold out for the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, I've got a few. I've got some
Tesla stock.
Yeah, well, have you got any at the moment?
No, actually, to be honest, I haven't got any stocks at all.
I only wow, okay, interesting. Is there like a reason behind it, or?
To be honest, I only invest into something I'm 100% knowledgeable in. So crypto, I'm very, very heavy in. Property, obviously, I studied architecture at uni, so I kind of know that market inside out as well.
Makes
you
sense.
know, things like that, like gold we invest in. We know that obviously during forex and commodities,
Yep.
gold is a decent investment to make over the long term.
Mhm.
So
That
these
makes
kinds
sense.
of things are something that I've invested in. The main thing, or the best thing that I've invested in, to be honest, is my health and my knowledge. And I'm sure you can obviously say the same to yourself as
Yeah.
well. And the best thing to invest in for the next 5 years, I would say, is yourself.
100%.
Yeah.
It's like when
So
people ask you, all, I'm sure they ask you the same question. What
yeah.
should I buy? Should I
Mm,
buy gold now at this price, or is where do I get out at Euro
yeah.
USD or something? Like I would say just invest into education,
Yeah.
whether it's mine, yours, whatever.
Yeah.
Invest into education, because that is what's going to help you long run. You might go down because obviously you're spending money, but long term
Mm.
is
You're
going
going
up.
to be a lot higher long
Yeah.
term.
Yeah.
Definitely.
100%.
Like, I went to university, and obviously I studied architecture,
Mhm.
and that was a good 5 year course.
Yeah.
However, over the 5 years, my uni fees, well, at that time, I'm not too old, but yeah, at the time, uni fees were about 3,500.
Wow.
Now it's about 9K. So
Yeah,
if you add
yeah,
that up
I've
over
paid 9K.
5 years, that's about 15K. Yeah, that I've not lost, but I've invested. Yeah. Now from that, I gained a lot of knowledge,
Mhm.
and later on in my life, I was able to, not straight away, but later on in my life, I was able to start investing into that field because I was knowledgeable in it.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes a lot of
into the
sense.
field of property and housing and commercial and residential. Whereas if you don't invest into yourself, into your own knowledge, into
Mhm.
your own you know into your own health as well,
Yeah.
anything, you will not understand anything. Yeah, you will always be looking for short-term fixes. You
Yeah.
will always not understand everything to the best standard as it should be understood. Yeah,
100%.
like we're giving out advice all the time, myself and yourself, yeah, to a lot of individuals who have invested into themselves,
Mm.
yeah, into individuals who have invested money into their own education and money into their own and time. It's not just about money, it's about time as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got here because we put in the time to get
Yeah.
here. Does that make sense? And we're still got a lot further to go. Not just saying that, we're multi-billionaires already, because we're definitely not. Anyone
Yeah.
watching this,
Nowhere
don't
near.
come, yeah, put a ransom on my head. I'm definitely
Nowhere near.
nowhere near multi-billions anytime soon. But you know what? I wish to get there definitely one day. But the only way to get there is by putting in the time and effort every single day into developing our knowledge and brain and health, yeah,
Yeah.
of course, and portfolios into a better and more efficient way.
Yeah. So what
Yeah.
would you say for somebody who's trying to get into the property? Because a lot of people want to get into property, but they
Yeah.
haven't got maybe the capital. So
Yeah.
what would you recommend for somebody who's trying to get into maybe
There's a lot of other ways instead of just buying a house and putting it on rent. There's
like
so many
REITs?
different other ways. There is REITs, so
REITs, yeah.
REITs, which is real estate investment trusts, where
Yeah.
other people are investing in properties, and you don't have to invest the same amount, but you'll get the same kind of returns.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another way is outsourcing. Yeah. There's so many ways of making money from property without putting in a big investment at the beginning. Yeah. You can do outsourcing. So let's just say you find a house, yeah, a lot of large investors, or you go out on Facebook or whatever platform you're using, go out and look for buyers or people who want to buy a house.
Mhm.
Yeah, people who are selling houses, for instance. There's loads of estate agents out there. You link up the two and make your money in the middle.
That's
Yeah,
fair enough. Yeah.
I know a lot of
That's
people
good.
doing this
That's a good
off
one.
market. It's called off market properties. Yeah, I've done a few off market deals as well. They're wicked.
Mm.
Yeah, just link up two people together, not put in a single thing yourself. Yeah, I know people who are selling bunch of properties that have just been developed, and I know people who are wanting to buy a lot of properties that
Yeah.
are brand new, that want to get on their hands on it first. Yeah,
Mm.
that are willing to make sure that they pay whatever they're able to pay to get their hands on those properties first.
Mm.
And because I've just linked up the two, just made a little drink in the middle. Yeah,
Fair enough. Yeah.
if you're a
Sounds
hustler, if you're a hustler at
sounds
heart,
good.
if you know how to make money at heart, you will always find a way of making money. Does
Mm.
that make sense? So there's another way of making it as well, Airbnb.
Yeah, I was going to mention that because I've seen a lot recently about how people have some contract with the owners, and then they kind of list their property on Airbnb and get people to go there, and then they just take a cut in the middle.
That's correct. Yeah, I know somebody who's doing that, and they've got a good 11 or 12 properties under management. They haven't bought a single one of those properties.
Yeah.
All
It's
they
like
do
Uber.
is it's like Uber.
Like they don't own the cars.
Yeah.
They just provide the service.
Exactly. They're the homeowner owns all these properties. All they do is rent this property out on Airbnb, to, let's say, people who want to use it short term, and they pay their landlord the rental amount they're asking for. So let's just say somebody wants to rent their 2-bedroom flat out for about £1,500 a month. Rent. An Airbnb person will come along, or any of you guys, if you want to start this business off as well, it's so easy. You can go along, offer him that same amount, but you will pay him, but you're going to put it on Airbnb and you're not going to live there yourself. In fact, more landlords are allowing people to do that, because it's kind of a better income for them. Plus, they don't have to deal with any tenant headaches.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah, the middle person deals with all of the tenant headaches. They go in, clean the place up, put a new person in there for a few days. Once they're finished, go back in there, clean it all up, change the sheets, change, towels, whatever needs to be done, and do it all over again. Yeah. The middleman is making, let's just say, another grand on top at the end of the month or per property. Yeah. The landlord is happy. He's still getting the same amount of money. Yeah. And his contract is with the person who's managing the property, like the Airbnb guy. Yeah. So any problems that take place with another customer of Airbnb, it's not his problem, it's that manager's problem.
Okay, that makes
Yeah.
Is there no like regulation that needs to be done for that, or
no,
like does the
regulation that needs to be done?
Okay.
For that at all, as long as you know what you're doing, as long as you can keep up to your customer service. Airbnb is a very good customer service business. So if your service is tip top, anything that your customers need, you're there and you're able to provide it, you'll get better ratings and you'll go higher up.
So is that you saying Airbnb is a great investment?
Airbnb is a good hustle to get into the property market. Yeah, because you'll make a lot of links that way. You'll get to network with a lot of big landlords who own a lot of big properties out there as well. It's common that a landlord doesn't just own one property. Yeah, so if he trusts you, he'll put you on his other properties as well if it's clearly doing well. Yeah, he wouldn't mind. I personally wouldn't mind, if somebody did that for myself as well. Yeah, if clearly that business is working on one property and they want to manage another, I'll merge them both together under this person. Yeah, anything happens to both of them, I'm just going to come to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think it's more of a, because that sounds easy, right? It sounds easy once you put it into context, but it's a lot harder. Do you think it's more of a confidence issue for a lot of people? How they can't, they feel like they haven't got the confidence to go out there and find the landlords, as you said.
Correct. Yeah, there's a lot of doubt that has been put in people's minds. Let's just say I told somebody to go, let's just say I tell one of you viewers to go out there right now and find a landlord to give you his property to put on Airbnb. They would, firstly, the first negative question would arise is, that's a bit long. Yeah. That's a bit long to do. But it just depends on your hustle, to be honest. If you really want to make it and you really want to step into the property market without putting in any money at all whatsoever, if you really want to do it, you will do it. I know people who did struggle at first finding a proper landlord, but they didn't stop, and eventually they found their landlord who trusted them, and they did it. Ever since then, now, like I said, they've got about 11 properties under management.
Wow.
Even if they're making £1,000 on top, that's an extra £11,000 a month.
Is it a month? It's a month, right?
Yeah, a month.
Wow. Okay. That's actually very good.
Yeah, £1,000 on top per month per property. Let's say they get the property for £1,500 a month, but their total after everything is paid is about 2.5K. Yeah, they give their landlord the 1,500 at the end of the month, and they got £1,000 to keep to themselves. Yeah, and they do that with nine other properties. That's 10K.
And we're laughing.
Yeah, and even if it's a full-time job, even if they have to go to a property after property, clean that one up, then go to the next one, clean that one, then go to the next one, clean that, then go to the next one, get that ready for the person who's coming in 1 hour, it's worth 10K a month.
You could pay someone to do it.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Just pay someone to clean it for
They
you.
could pay somebody to clean it, and they just come in and inspect it, say it's all good, put it back up on the market on Airbnb.
Yeah.
It's literally that simple and that easy. Yeah,
that sounds simple.
Now, finally, we haven't got much time, but we did forget to mention this as well. Is fiat versus digital currency. So those of you who don't know, fiat currency is your everyday currency, which is used around the world. For instance, dollar, pound, euro. Yeah, and digital currency is obviously your cryptocurrency.
Yeah. So what do you think first?
I think that fiats are going to start turning digital. Obviously, US have announced, or the USA have announced, that they're starting to develop their own coin.
I saw that. Yeah.
USDC.
Yeah.
But have they ever told anyone about USDT?
No.
Which was developed many years ago.
I heard of USDT though. I don't think I've ever looked into it.
Yeah.
I thought it was just like an everyday normal cryptocurrency that was just
based off the dollar. No matter what happens, USDT.
Is that the one you showed me that had like 1,000,000% increase?
Tether. No.
Was it? Which one was that?
I think that was USDC. 1.7 million, or something to do with USD. Yeah, it can't be Tether. It can't be Tether because Tether exactly replicates the dollar. Yeah. So if the dollar, if no matter what happens in the crypto market, you can always convert your cryptos back to USDT if you want, which is Tether.
Yep.
It'll either show up on your platforms as USDT or it will show as Tether. Yeah. Yep. That is exactly a direct mimic of the US dollar. Okay. So obviously the US dollar created Tether, which was backed, or not backed by the dollar, but it mimics the dollar. Now they're actually creating their own proper currency, which is USDC, which is USD coin.
Yeah.
US dollar coin. So fiat versus digital, I believe fiat will always have to be around, but it will merge with digital.
Okay. What do you mean by that? How would you put that into?
So, like, all fiat currencies, for instance, dollar, pound, euro, will start to go public in terms of crypto. Yeah. So we should one day see a pound coin. Yeah.
Pound C.
Yeah, pound C, euro C. Yeah, and I definitely believe, fiat and digital are pretty much merging very, very soon. What they've realized, in fact, is fiat cannot fight crypto. Yeah. So there's no better way to, let's say, benefit from crypto than to join the crypto market themselves.
100%.
Yeah. So rather than regulating cryptos, they're going to regulate their own currency, which will already be regulated to go digital as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So fiat versus digital, I don't think there's a battle. That battle took place many years ago. Rather than battling it out, now they are kind of just merging. Yeah. So fiat currencies are going to be turning digital. Well, definitely in my eyes anyway.
Yeah, 100%.
Because especially after, Barclays, JP Morgan started investing heavily into digital currencies rather than into, fiat currencies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Goldman as well.
Goldman Sachs. Yeah, XRP, isn't it?
Yeah. XRP and Bitcoin as well. I think I saw them in Bitcoin. You just got to think about if these big institutional banks want to invest a large amount of sums into certain coins, why aren't you doing the same? You got to think, like, you see every trader talk about follow what the whales do and all this stuff. Well, you have to be following. You can't just say it but then not actually do it. By saying, invest into stocks, but you're not actually invested into stocks yourself. Do what you preach, So cryptocurrencies for sure, 100%.
definitely. So yeah, fiat versus digital. Quickly covering that topic. My belief is that they're going to merge. There's no fight anymore from fiat versus digitals. That fight is gone. We're now seeing Bitcoin on buses. For instance, you know what? I saw it on a bus last week. Yeah, I saw
Fair
Bitcoin
enough.
on a bus
Is it
last
a
week.
Coinbase one?
No, eToro.
eToro.
Yeah,
Hey,
eToro
those
advert.
annoying adverts.
Well, yeah. The annoying adverts that pop up all over your YouTube,
Yeah.
now on TV, and now on buses. And it said
Crazy.
if you seeing Bitcoin on a bus, it's too late.
That's smart. Yeah, that's smart.
Or it's about time you buy.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're hearing it everywhere, seeing it everywhere, it's about time you start
buy.
looking into it. You stop, saying this is rubbish. I don't understand it. I don't know what's going on. It's about time everybody starts to understand more in the financial world and financial literacy. Yeah, that's literally what has got me where I am today is the financial literacy rather than stacking money, for instance. Yeah, stacking money is a good way of obviously investing, but what to invest in is where literacy, financial education comes into it.
100%.
Most people, which I'm not saying is wrong or bad or in any way negative,
Yeah.
or rubbish, most people stack up money and invest into a property, and then put it on rent. But obviously nowadays for a property, well, in London anyway, you need a minimum of £100,000. And
Wow.
the average wage is about 24 to £36,000 in the UK. So it's going to take you about 3 years of not spending anything, not even a pound to get to that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just a bit crazy if you think about it.
Yeah, it is indeed. And that's just a deposit. You don't own the house completely until obviously you've paid off that mortgage.
Yeah.
So the income you're going to make on that is only obviously a fraction of what you're actually going to be paid in rent, because half of the money you're paying towards your mortgage, half the money you're keeping. Yeah.
So why do you think people actually go into buying properties and then put it instant in rent? Because then you're at kind of a loss, Let's say you buy a property for, I don't know, 600,000, put it on rent.
Yeah.
Or you're like an instant loss, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand. Now, the reason for that is because they see it as assets. Yeah. In 9 to 10 years' time, that 600,000 is going to double to 1.2 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of sense.
So most people who do that are looking long term. Yeah, which I believe, property is one of the best long term investments of all time.
Yeah.
I've seen people kill it on property. Yeah. And they're still killing it to this day.
So
and
Samuel Leeds?
Samuel Leeds, I'm not too sure about him.
Some property. Some property.
I know he's some property mentor.
Yeah,
he sells courses and all of that.
Yeah.
I don't know too much about him, but obviously I know what he does. However, people like Manny Koshbin.
Yeah. The car guy, innit?
Yeah, he's a G, man. He's a G. Yeah. He made his money from property. And you know what? He did exactly what I just mentioned. He actually stacked for multiple years and bought his first property. Then carried on working and stacking for multiple years and getting his next one. Yeah.
100%.
Stacked for a few more years, got his third one. And then how he got his fourth one was used the collateral from the other three, pulled out, remortgage, pulled out some money, and was able to buy another 3, 4, 5 more.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually very.
And from there on, he just compounded. Now he's got 6. Yeah. From those 6, he's able to buy 12.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Banks will keep giving you loans because they know, you know what? You're putting this other house against your loan. No problem. You ain't going nowhere. We'll happily give you more money to take out, buy more houses. Keep going. Yeah. And it just compounds and compounds and compounds. That's why in the property industry, you'll only kill it if you're a whale. Like, you get these serious property investors and developers, and then you just get obviously the small timers like myself.
Yeah.
At the moment.
At
the moment, I'm still growing to become one of those whales one day as well.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, we are going to wrap this up. It has been an amazing, start to 2020, in fact.
Yeah.
Plus, not so amazing. We are obviously in lockdown. And next session, I definitely do want to talk about, which other people have mentioned, is mental health during lockdown. It is a major point. Myself, I'm a pretty positive person, but at the end of the day, I'm also human as well. So it's not like I don't suffer from any issues. Yeah, I haven't suffered from any major issues so far, touch wood, to this day. But there have been a lot of people that I've interacted with who have suffered with multiple big issues of anxiety, depression, and you know what, being stuck behind four walls doesn't help. So we're definitely going to touch upon this point on our next session, which will be exactly the same time next week. So anything else, Mark, before we wrap it up?
No, I think we're all good.
Other than that, make sure you do like this video. If you're on Spotify, make sure you're following us and you like this podcast as well. Smash the like button, hit subscribe if you aren't already. Trust me, the subscribes go a long way. It really does help us gain more exposure as well. And comment down below how you found this and what you think we should talk about on the next session. Other than that, nice to have you guys, and catch you guys on the next one.
Take care.